Hello, I'm Anna Kasatkina and you're watching InstaForex News. On Tuesday, the Japanese Finance Minister Yoshihiko Noda promised to take the appropriate measures in regard to the continuing advance of the yen in accordance with monetary principles of G7 countries. The Japanese Finance Minister made such statement after the Japanese currency reached its 15-year high against the US dollar. After the dollar-yen pair achieved 15-year low of 84.15, Noda said that all future steps will be taken in line with the statement of G7. Noda's statements were tougher than earlier. During his public speaking on the 12th of August, he mentioned the possibility to accept measures, but he did not talk about the position of G7 in regard to the currencies. This slight change in the rhetoric of the finance minister points to the strengthening of fears in Tokyo about the harm that the increase of the yen can do to the decelerating economic recovery of the country. However, few traders expect that at the nearest time the authorities of Japan will intervene in order to weaken the exchange rate of the yen. G7 did not publish its usual final statement after two meetings held this year. Nevertheless, on the meeting in Istanbul in October 2009, the group released a communiqué in which it was said that the excessive volatility and chaotic change of exchange rates exert negative influence on the economic and financial stability. G7 promised to follow closely the situation on the exchange markets and cooperate if it's necessary. Nonetheless, the currency market almost did not react to Noda's hint about the possible measures. Judging by the previous steps taken by the currency authorities of Japan, the statements of Noda may signal about the fact that the authorities of Tokyo are not ready to resort to intervention and sell the yen. Last time such step was accepted in spring 2004. The predecessors of Noda were using the phrase appropriate measures in order to signal about the fact that the Minister of Finance considers a possibility to order the Bank of Japan to intervene. However, prior to intervening, the predecessors of the present finance minister very often were threatening with drastic measures in order to show the firmness of their intentions. There is a diffused opinion on the market that the authorities of Tokyo will hardly try to stop the yen's growth without approval from the part of the USA and leading European countries, and these countries will not give such permission, taking into account the weakness of their own economies. The decline of the yen against the dollar and the euro will help the Japanese exporters, but will harm the American and the European producers competing with the Japanese producers on the world's market. In spite of the fact that Noda mentioned the statement of G7, it did not change the opinion of the markets. According to traders, the disordered informing of markets about authorities' signals regarding the exchange rates also brings to naught the effect of such statements. Until on Tuesday, Noda announced that he will act in a proper way. Earlier that day, he held a press conference. On this conference, he was adhering to his previous pronouncements in regard to the currencies, and these had strengthened the talks that Japan will desist from the acceptance of measures in relation to the yen. The time when these new comments were made points to the fact that Noda has changed slightly his opinion after he saw that his press conference had helped the dollar-yen pair to drop to a new 15-year low. Nevertheless, unexpected change of Noda's statement, who has the brief experience of the currency policy, had only confused the market participants. During the press conference on Tuesday, Noda repeated that he will with a keen interest follow the changes on the market, but he did not comment on the probability of interventions in Japan. Noda also had called the upward trend of the yen against the dollar and the euro observed recently as one way, and opposed the excessive volatility and chaotic changes of exchange rates. Presently, the government works out new package of expansionary actions, which is partly directed against the advance of the yen. However, the high debt level means that the volume of new spending probably will be limited. Though interventions are unlikely, the Japanese government relies on the Bank of Japan in the fact that it will take some steps for the weakening of the yen. Keep in touch with the latest financial news provided to you by InstaForex. Goodbye.